Okay, guys, we are going to do, let's see, I hope so. We are going to do a video showing you how to shade the flower. The first thing that you should have did is you should have taken a picture of the shoe or the flower, whatever it is that you're doing, and you're going to switch it from the color to the black and white. This is going to give you so much of an edge to see the different values. Because if you remember, my flower is white. There's not a whole lot of white in this flower. So this is going to help you a lot. Please make sure that you take this. Now, you don't need to print it out like I have it printed out. I just wanted to have this printed out so I can show you. You can use it on your phone because you're going to be taking these back and forth. All right. So I already have one that's kind of started here. Just to kind of give you an idea, I want you to see all the different values. And I'm going to put this right here so you can actually see. All right. You can kind of see what's going on there. What I do want to tell you, and if you remember, you are shading with the side of your pencil lead. So you're holding it like this, and you're shading with the side of your pencil lead in a circular motion. And I like to roll my lead, so when it gets flat, I'm just rolling my lead, and then I can get a little bit more. And the more pressure I do, look at that. It's very nice gradation right there. Okay. You can use your finger to smudge. You can use the tortillon or shading stump. But look, a lot of times if you shade too much, oh my gosh, it's the same value, and I moved it too much. I've shaded too much. So be careful not to do that. Then what you have to do is you have to go back with your eraser and kind of lift off. And I have a kneaded eraser I'm going to show you when you come to class. So anyway, looking at this, I am looking at what's the lightest, what's the darkest. Well, if you look at this photograph, the leaves are the darkest, okay? Flowers are the lightest, and I have several different values in my bow. And you can see on this bow, I've even created a little texture. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to shade this leaf right here. I'm going to come in, I put the point of my pencil on the edge of the line, and that creates a nice, smooth, sharp edge. And I'm just going to shade. It's a little bit lighter right here compared to my picture, so I'm trying to match my picture. If you are shading from your original object, good for you. You're just going to have to make sure that you see it. That's why I said take the picture of the photo. If you take a photo, it's a lot easier to see. I'm working in a circular motion. I'm going to turn my picture upside down because I can't get my arm bent all the way around. So I'm turning my picture upside down so it's easier for me to put the point of my pencil on that edge and shade. And I can turn it back up. All right, I'm going to do another one here. Now, one other thing is I'm going to talk about some line variation. So this is dark. I'm going to push this. Okay. Again, this is just common sense. You just what's light, what's dark. This is really dark on the top half, and then it does get lighter down here. So I'm going to go ahead and do this leaf, and then we'll move to something different. So it gets darker in here, and it's lighter at the top there. I want to make sure that I have all those values. It looks like it kind of just gives a little ripple effect there. It's darker down in there, and it gets lighter up where it curves up. And that's going to make it look more three-dimensional. And I'm just rolling my pencil lead to make sure that I get all the edges, working in a circular motion. I'm going to turn this upside down so I can get right next to this edge. Okay. Now, I want to talk about something else, and I'll talk about this again in class. I want to make sure that my edges are very sharp. Okay, I don't want them fuzzy. So we're going to talk about line pressure. Line pressure is a little different than line variation. Line variation is thicker lines, and you made it thicker with your marker. This one is just going to be pressure with your pencil. So take a look down here. And if I am doing a line pressure, I'm going to do an outline of a leaf. So I've got this outline of a leaf, all right? So what I can do, where it's darker, I'm just going to press harder and then lift up. Press harder, lift up, harder, lift up. Isn't that a nice pretty line, light to dark, light to dark? This is just dark outline all the way around. Don't want that. That makes me very sad. Please do not do that, okay? So that's another thing that we can talk about. So if let's say I want to do some line variation on something I've already shaded. So where it's dark, I'm going to push, lighten up, push where it's darker, lighten up. There's a shadow there, so I'm going to push, push. Now, this is overlapped here. So this is probably going to be a little bit lighter, and I'm going to maybe a little bit of a shadow there, okay? Now I am went back and I'm using my ebony pencil right now. So to push the darks, if you can't get it with your Black Warrior, you're going to want to come back with your ebony pencil. Don't do it too much though. You always want to make sure that you have lights, darks, mediums. I got to talk sharp my pencil about this. Lights, darks, mediums, and very, very darks. So I'm going to come back and let's just do a petal real quick. Very light. Look at this. I am hardly pressing at all. Very, very light. And very light on this side. I've got to turn it upside down since I can't get my arm turned all the way around. And I'm just doing a little bit there. Okay, you see that? So now I don't want to do too much. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I can either take my finger. I like to use my finger, but if I use my Tortolon or my shading stump, it's not going to get messy on the outside edges. So I can just kind of shade that, and that kind of gives it a nice soft effect. I like to do it just with my pencil, but sometimes it's kind of hard to do that. Put those little texture lines in there with my shading stump. Then I can come back, and even though this is a light, very light petal, it overlaps here. A little bit of pressure right there. It overlaps here. A little bit of pressure right there, just so it's going to stand out. And I'm going to do this last one over here. Again, not a whole lot of shading, just getting enough on there so I can move the letter around. A little bit more here. So this is going to be darker because it is behind the other petal. Okay. And then again, I can come here and do this. I'm going to show you another trick. This is a good trick to learn. If you take a scrap piece of paper and you just put lead on it, you can grab lead with your shading stump and look at this. Okay, and there's that kind of, you can kind of shade like that too if you want to shade like that. It's not as controlled, but it can be done. So just a few little tips there. One more thing I want to show you. I want to show you how to use a kneaded eraser. Now, you do not have a kneaded eraser in your packet, but I do have these that you're more than welcome to use when you come to class. I'm going to show you this. So let's say that on this particular leaf right here that I covered too dark. I got it too dark. So I'm going to take this wonderful tool, and it's a kneaded eraser. You stretch it, you break it. That's how you clean them. And I'm just going to put this together. And this is too dark, so I'm just going to just dot, dot, and lift. And just kind of, look at that. I can lift that off, and it's very smooth. I don't have any eraser lines. Isn't that pretty? So you can use these things here. One other thing I want to tell you. When you're shading, oh my goodness, look, my whole arm, I'm going to get lead, and I'm going to get messy all over my paper. It's important for you to put the cover sheet under your arm, okay? And you are using that cover sheet to protect your arm from smearing your paper. Because when you're all the way done, you're going to have to erase all those smudges that you have on there, and that might take a while. Okay, so with that in mind, you've had a few techniques that I've taught you before this, and now you've kind of looked at how to shade. And so I hope you have a good time shading, and I will see you in class tomorrow.